It's taken 7 years, more than $13 million, and 2.6 million words. The long-awaited Iraq inquiry's verdict on the UK government's decision to invade Iraq in 2003, and the conclusion that the UK had chosen to go to war before peaceful means were exhausted.
In the absence of a majority in support of military action, we consider that the UK was, in fact, undermining the Security Council's authority. Second, the inquiry has not expressed a view on whether military action was legal. That could, of course, only be resolved by a properly constituted and internationally recognised court.
It's an indictment of the steps towards an invasion, a portrait of the decisions taken and mistakes made in the rush to go to war. The key player in this inquiry, former Prime Minister Tony Blair. The report's author, John Chilcot, said that the then Prime Minister had put too much faith in his abilities to influence US policy before the war, and not enough on the dangers of what would await.
Mr. Blair told the inquiry that the difficulties encountered in Iraq after the invasion could not have been known in advance. We do not agree that hindsight is required. The risks of internal strife in Iraq, active Iranian pursuit of its interests, regional instability, and al-Qaeda activity in Iraq were each explicitly identified before the invasion.
In a statement released shortly after the report's publication, Mr. Blair emphasised that the inquiry supported his position that he made no secret deal to invade Iraq at a meeting with former US President George Bush back in April 2002, and that there was no falsification of intelligence, but that he would, quote, take full responsibilities for any mistakes without exception or excuse. And he believed that it was better to remove Saddam Hussein than to allow the Iraqi leader to stay in power. The response from the Iraq war victims' families made clear the anger at the decision to go to war.
We were proud when our husbands, sons and daughters signed up to serve our country. We must use this, but we cannot be proud of the way our government has treated them. We must use this report to make sure that all parts of the Iraq war fiasco are never repeated again, neither in a theatre of war nor in the theatre of Whitehall.
The fallout of the war was also acknowledged. At least 150,000 civilians have been killed in Iraq since 2003, more than 1 million people displaced, and a geopolitical strife that was unleashed in its wake. Sonia Gallego, Al Jazeera.